Let's bring in former Council of Economic Advisors Chair Kevin Hassett. Kevin, you recently wrote a piece in the National Review saying that due to this strike, quote, the union's very future is at stake, and President Biden's promise to create 1 million jobs in the EV sector has been exposed as a misleading sleight of hand. I would just call it just balderdash. But how does this play out?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that the union recognizes that the Biden and the Democrats' push for electric vehicles is a potential threat to their very existence. Because what's happening, and I write about that in the National Review article you cited, is that the car companies, even the big three, are locating the EV plants in right-to-work states like Tennessee. And those places don't really want to organize with the UAW. And so that they're taking, the unionized jobs in Michigan and shipping them to Tennessee, and they're turning into not unionized jobs. And so the problem with this outcome right now is just that if the automakers cave and give them the 40% salary increase and assurances that they get to organize Tennessee, then the automakers are going to lose all of their EV market to Tesla and Honda and everybody else that's already occupying the southern U.S. and not being unionized. But if they don't cave, then the workers are going to be on strike for a really long time, and so it's very hard to see how this thing plays out.
Kevin, the summer of strikes, it's going out with a bang. The Wall Street Journal found the U.S. economy lost more than 4 million days of work just in August due to strikes. So I wonder what's happening across the country. Why are we having all of these strikes? Do we have that many disgruntled workers across the country, or they feel like they're not getting their fair share from corporate America?
Oh, for sure. And I even bet that you two are talking about strike in the green room sometimes, right? Because the fact is that prices have gone up a lot and wages haven't, and people are worse off. We saw that in the census data that showed that real incomes relative to 2019 are down $4,000 per family. Yeah. And so people feel like their bosses are jacking up prices and charging more for everything, but they're not seeing their wages go up. And you could actually see, like, the tip of the spear of this debate is the UAW strike, because one of their main asks is a cost of living adjustment in the contract that they negotiate, so that if Biden continues to spin inflation out of control, then their wages automatically adjust. You might recall that President Obama told the UAW in the big restructuring that they didn't need a COLA anymore, and so they didn't include the COLA in the contract near the end of the Obama administration. And now they rue the day because their incomes are down 30 to 40%, depending on where you are in the food chain at UAW. And so, yeah, the COLA is a really, really big thing for them, but it's something that everybody in America needs now, given that inflation is not under control.
Yeah, but they still make $65 an hour total labor costs, when at Tesla it's $45, at the foreign automakers it's $55. Right. It seems like if a company isn't dealing with a strike, it's laying off a good chunk of its employees. Private sector companies from technology to finance have been cutting jobs, freezing new hiring this year. Meanwhile, over at the government, it's been adding more than 327,000 positions in 2023, advertising new perks and pay bumps up to 20% higher than last year. Make it stop, Kevin. Make it stop.
The way to think about it, Dignan, is that in 2019, the CBO looked forward to this year and expected the government to spend $5.3 trillion. And in fact, they're going to spend $6.3 trillion, a whole $1 trillion more. And if you're going to spend $1 trillion more, you need people to do it. And the thing, I live in D.C., and the thing about it is, though, that none of these government workers ever go to work. You can't believe it. The traffic now is still kind of like it was during COVID. Nobody goes to work. Everybody's telecommuting. And so these people are getting paid, but they're not really working. I even had a friend, a former staffer when I was at CA, who's still over there in the EOB, say that most of the White House is also not coming to work and telecommuting, right? And so these are great jobs. So, people listening, you should apply for one, because you really do get to do it from your bathtub, and you don't really have to do any work. You have to go in.
Stop smiling. It's not funny. I'm just kidding.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Kevin Hassett, thank you so much. We appreciate it.